Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to my class. Good to see you all. I'll just go ahead and for those of you who are already on, I'll start kind of talking about what you're going to need if you want to follow along with me today. So you're going to want to grab your makeup brushes and some eyeshadow. We're going to be talking about how to lift the eye today. We're going to be talking about how to make our eyes appear bigger. And for any of us who have hooded eyes, or maybe didn't used to have hooded eyes, but we've gotten older and now we do and don't know how to do our makeup, like, you know, I was kind of in that situation for a little bit, then we're going to be talking about how to fix that and how to make sure our eyeshadow looks good no matter what age we are. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Last week we talked about lashes. As you can see today, I'm completely bald. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Sloane. Hi, Britt. Hi, everybody.
So happy to see everybody. Welcome, welcome. Settle in. Yes, as I was saying, we'll let everyone kind of get on and get situated and grab their things. I think something that you probably want to have next to you right now would be some hand sanitizer, your makeup brushes, pick your favorite palette, favorite eyeshadow palette. We're going to talk about a lot today. So I can't wait to share my good stuff. I love your mirror, Donna. You've got the right idea. You have to, seriously, you have to have a mirror next to you or you cannot see. Like, I can't see at all. And if I'm like in the bathroom, I'm like crawling up on the sink trying to like pull my eye back. So it's very important to have a handheld mirror. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good to see everybody again. I see some familiar faces and I see some new faces. Good. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Settle in. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Allison. Hi, Alyssa. Thank you, guys. Getting comfy. Christina, Carrie Ann. Hi, Nina. Thank you for coming on today. Awesome. So it is 4 o'clock. I'll give everyone about 2 more minutes to settle in. I know there's sometimes some people who get on a little bit late or troubleshooting with Zoom. We've all been there. Great. Thank you all for coming today. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. Biggest thing that we're going to talk about is how to lift the eye. Everybody wants their eyes to look nice and big. And we're also going to be talking about colors that kind of best suit our eyes, because all of that makes a difference. Good. And I just want to let everyone know today that you are free to ask questions as I'm going. You can either shout it out, or if you want to put it in the chat, I'll also be looking there. If I'm a little slow to get to it, don't worry, I will get to it. I'm probably just focusing on my eyeshadow, but I will look in the chat and answer any questions that are there as well. Good to see everybody. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and get started. First, I'll talk a little bit about myself. My name is Sloane. I've been with Blushington since 2016. I work at the Brentwood and West Hollywood locations in Los Angeles, California. We have 6 locations in New York City, Dallas, Texas, and here in Southern California. I have been doing makeup for a little bit over 10 years now, and I'm a senior artist with Blushington going on the second year. I love what I do, and it's been really hard for us to not be able to be in person helping people out and making people feel beautiful. So I'm so happy that we introduced this initiative and we were able to connect with all of our clients via Zoom, via the computer. You know, it's amazing that we live in a world where we can do that now with technology. I specialize in airbrush makeup. I specialize in tanning, and I love corrective beauty. Corrective beauty is a little different than just regular beauty. Regular beauty, you kind of see a nice color and you throw it on and you just look beautiful, very trendy makeup. But not everybody loves to do trend makeup. Some people just want to look like the best version of themselves all the time. So that's kind of where I like to come in and teach people how to do that. So first, I want everyone to look and see if they've got an eyeshadow primer. You're going to want to prime your lids. My very favorite brand that we have is this Jouer Brightening Eyeshadow Primer. It's really important to brighten up your eyes before you actually add a eyeshadow to your eyelid. And the reason is because most people do have a little bit of a flush tone or even some darkness in the eye naturally. So if you see a really beautiful color that you think looks nice and bright, sometimes you put it on and it can kind of make you look gray because it's got that darker tone underneath. So we kind of want to cancel out any darkness. We want to cancel out any oiliness that we have on our eyelids so that our eyeshadow really sticks and stays in place all day. If you do have issues with your eyeshadow staying on and you're worried about longevity, try an eyeshadow primer. If you don't have an eyeshadow primer, you can totally use a concealer. It's just one step extra. You've got to set it prior to putting your shadow on. And then you want to start with a base. With your base, you just want to use a nice big brush that's going to get your whole eye, because believe it or not, you want to get it, you know, up into your eyebrow just a bit, not in your eyebrow, but right underneath. The first shade should be similar to your skin tone. That way you can't really tell. That way you're not putting like blue eyeshadow right underneath your eyebrow or anything. You do want to keep it nice and natural for that first shade. It gives us a blank canvas, but it also helps to blend all the colors together. If you've ever had a situation where your shadow gets stuck, that's why. The brush that I'm using, I like to call a packing brush. So you can see I've got my powder on there already. My brush is nice and wide, but it's not round. And the reason is because it's really meant for your whole eyelid. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna pack that color on my lids. There's two things that I think are really important with eyeshadow. Honestly, anyone can wear any color. Sometimes you have to tweak the variation of the color. Sometimes lighter or darker colors might look better on you, but you can wear whatever color you want. The key to your eyeshadow is placement and blending. Packing brushes are meant for placing the eyeshadow. So it's important to have a good packing brush. Your finger also doubles as a great packing brush, but I would suggest having a wipe or something so that you're not like dipping into multiple colors, because then you're easily gonna get a gray or brown tone and all of your makeup is kind of blend together. So you wanna keep that separate. If you are using one brush and you don't have multiple brushes, that's okay too. Use what you have, but if you've got a tissue or something, you might wanna like rub it off. That way you're not mixing colors. Perfect. And all the products that I'm going to be talking about today, ladies, is going to be available at Blushington.com. All the tricks today are something that we usually do in store. So thank you for listening. You can kind of get our secret tricks. And you'll also get a code today. Everybody likes a sale, so you'll all have an opportunity to run over to Blushington.com and pick up any of the products that we talked about today or any other ones that catch your eye, and you'll be able to use my code, which will be available in the chat at the end of our class. Great. So now that we have our neutral shadow all over our lids, we're going to want to go in with a fluffy brush. See if I have my number here. What I'm using is a Bdellium Tool 776, available at Blushington as well. And the brush roll that we do have at Blushington comes with multiple fluffy brushes. So how do you pick which one? I'll show you a few here that I have, and we'll talk about them. So as you can see, this one and this one are kind of fluffy and fat. They're very like spread out at the end. Versus this brush right here has a nice tapered point. So this is really good for precision. If you have a hooded eye, this is amazing for your crease. When you have a hooded eye, you might be asking yourself maybe what that is, or asking if you have a hooded eye. Basically, anybody who has a little bit of skin that kind of hangs over their crease area, that is a hooded eye. So if you've in the past put on an eyeshadow in your crease and then you open your eyes and you can't really see it, you probably have a hooded eye. You lose a lot of the beautiful stuff that you do on your lids when they're closed as soon as you open. So it's really important to have something with precision so you can control where your color is going, because when you have a hooded eye or even small eyes, there's sometimes not a lot of space to work with. And you don't want to look crazy by like bringing it up into your eyebrow because you can't see your crease. So I always like to start with the crease with a very neutral tone. We already put something that's close to our skin tone on our lid. Now we're going to want to go in with something nice and warm. If you have a deep tone, you might want to reach for like an orange or something with a lot of red in it. If you're on the paler side or the cooler side, you can do something a little bit more muted with a little bit of orange. The palette I'm working out of today is one of my very favorites. It's called Soft Glam by Anastasia of Beverly Hills. Her formula is amazing. All of the products that we pick at Blushington are curated specifically for women. Most of our brands are actually women-owned brands, so they kind of know what we like and what we want. You're going to just get a little bit. I'm going to start with orange soda because it's nice and muted. I'm going to dust it off, and I'm going to find my crease. Now, the common mistake people with hooded eyes make is they try to follow their crease all the way down to their lash line. The issue with that is that we would be making a circle and we'd be closing our eye off. So instead of following it all the way down to, you know, the outside corner of your eye, I want you to find your crease and just go straight out. So if it helps, you can have a guide. If you put a brush, you know, where your crease line is, and follow that straight line, because again, we don't want to follow our natural crease. We want to just go straight out. So find the center and jet it straight out to the side. Center of the crease, and just bring it straight out. This is going to make our eyes appear more open and as if we have more lid space. It's also going to give the illusion that our crease is a bit higher than it naturally is by itself. If you're not as experienced with eyeshadow and you have an eyeshadow palette that kind of gets everywhere or underneath your eye, I would suggest doing your eye makeup before you do your face makeup, just so that you have the ability to kind of clean everything up. So once again, you're just gonna keep going straight out. Now, a trick that I like to let everybody in on is holding the brush at the end of the brush, the back. The reason this is important is because if we hold it too much like a pencil, close like this, we're going to be too rough on ourselves and our blend might not be as light, and we want a nice blown out effect. So don't hold your brush here, hold it in the back. That way it's nice and controlled. Also, you want to be a little bit light-handed, and the reason I say that is because you can always add more. You know, you can stop, you can look at yourself in the mirror, you can say, okay, higher up here, lower down here, so you can kind of see what you need to fix. But once you've gone too far, nothing but a makeup wipe can save you, right? So less is more, because you can always add more. You can always build up. But we know how much time it takes to have to completely erase and start over. And we want to avoid that at all costs. You know, we're always on a rush for time, so that's why. So as you can see, it kind of just looks like I have a nice tan shade. It's a very muted tone called orange soda. Now I'm going to go in with something a step up, a little darker, in the same family to what I just used, but a little bit darker. So now I'm going to go in with the burnt orange. So you can see I did orange soda, and now I'm going to go in with burnt orange. It's like 2 shades darker, but totally in the same range. And it's got some more brown hues to it. So same situation, you're going to just jet it straight out from your eye. You're not going to follow your natural crease. And you want to make sure that you get this color above your crease. Yes, it should be in the crease, but you really want it above the crease. Because once again, if you have a smaller eye or you have a hooded eye, you're probably going to lose any color that you put into your crease as soon as you look up or as soon as you open your eyes. Another rule of thumb for blending is I always like to blend down and towards my lash line. So even if you're out here, as long as you blend down and towards your lash line, you're gonna avoid having it blown out into this huge eyeshadow that's all the way on the side of your face or up in your eyebrows, anything that's really not gonna flatter you because it's just too much and too heavy on the eye. Again, placement is key, and it's great to have it blown out, but you don't want it like blown out past your eyebrow. So it's important to, you know, kind of keep stopping and checking, and I like to blend going towards the center of my eye and eyelashes. So as you can see, I have already kind of drawn the attention up above my crease. Any dark tones that we're gonna use, we're gonna try and focus on the outer corners of our eyes. If you have eyes that are farther apart, then you can totally get away with doing some smoke in the inner corner, but majority of people do have closer set eyes. I have very close set eyes, and I even have this little shadow that we get from my nose being so close to my eyes. So I want to focus the darkness on the outer corner. Otherwise, I'm just going to make myself look like I have a heavy brow, and my eyes will look smaller and very dark, or like I got punched in the face. So. Now I'm going to go in with Sienna. Sienna is a red brown. The beautiful thing about blending is you can honestly use as many colors as you want, and if you blend correctly, nobody should be able to tell where one color starts and one stops. I'm applying this in the outer corner of my eye. So before we were just going straight out, this time we are going to touch our lash line, and we're going to make what I like to call a little outside V. You want that darker color to really be in the lash line on the outside of the eye. You don't want to bring the color more than 3/4 of the way in. At the end, we're gonna add like a shimmer or a sheen, maybe a velvety color. Doesn't necessarily have to be glittery, but just that little pop for a hooded eye or a smaller eye right in the center of the eyelid will really call attention to the biggest part of the eye, which is your center of your eyelid. I really love this palette because I feel like the colors are nice and warm and great for summer, but also really good for fall. And there's so many different variations to what you can do with it. When you get to meeting the outer corner and that darker shade with the tone that you put in your crease, you want to kind of marry the two together. So you still want to go in that same direction because we want to keep our eye looking nice and lifted. So you're still going to blend that out quite a bit and up above the crease. If you got too much on your brush, you can always use the excess on your other eye. That way you're not like making too much of a mess. When you're starting out, sometimes it helps to use a clean brush to apply and a different brush to blend. It totally depends on your preference. But as you can see, I'm really focusing on keeping that crease color out, blown out and straight, going straight instead of down towards my eyelid. Gonna do the same on the other eye. Making a V on the outer corner. Making sure I'm blending that color down towards my lash line so that I don't get it too far blown out. And kind of marrying it into my crease color. You really just don't want to have any lines of demarcation. And that first color that we put all over our lid, since it's close to our skin tone, it should help to blend those colors out. As you can see, I'm still trying to blend that straight out so that it creates a new eye shape for me. Now, if you got too much or you feel like it's too strong, my best advice is to get a nice clean brush and to just go right up and underneath that eyebrow. Try not to actually touch the color. Try to just get right up and under that eyebrow where there isn't anything but the skin tone eyeshadow or face powder that you put on to begin with. And I say this because all we're trying to do is blend out a line. We're not trying to move the eyeshadow around. We like where we put the eyeshadow. The placement is key. So we don't want to move that. And sometimes people go a little too crazy with the blending and it's like everywhere. Amy Winehouse status, which is totally a trend. But if you just want to go to work, maybe not. And you can really blend that out as much as you like. If you're someone who's not used to wearing makeup, the cool thing about having the eyeshadow is you can really just keep blending until you feel like it's a comfortable level. Maybe you put it on too bright. Maybe you're a little bit heavy-handed. A lot of beginners with makeup are, and it's very easy to look like you're wearing too much. But I promise you there is no color that you should be afraid of because you can honestly do anything very subtly if you know how to blend. And as you can see, I'm just blending that out, nice and smoked out. If you don't have a number 762 Bedellium brush or something similar, you are definitely missing out in life because this brush does everything. I probably have 6 of them because I love them and don't like having to like brush them off in between colors. I'm gonna go back in with the same color we just used, which is that sienna. And I'm just gonna get a little tiny bit just on the tip of the brush, just so you can see it right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go out to the outer corner of my eye where I made that V initially, and I'm gonna bring it down 3/4 of the way on my bottom lash line to really give some balance to my shadow. If you are afraid of things coming at your eyes like I am, feel free to close your eye. As long as you know where your little baby lashes are, you should be okay. Kind of pretend like you're trying to like tickle your baby lashes with your little brush. If you don't have a brush this small, Q-tips work wonders. You could grab a Q-tip. So as you can see, I brought that color not all the way because once again, I don't want any eyeliner or any dark colors in the inside of my eye. I want to focus the darker shades on the outside of the eye just so that my eyes look even, balanced, and as big as possible. I'm gonna do that here on the other side as well, right where I made that V, and I'm just gonna follow to where my eyelashes are. And once again, I'm gonna stop once I meet 3/4 of the way. You could stop in the middle if you have larger eyes naturally. You have a little bit more space. And if you have any excess on your brush, go ahead and drag that color into your lash line, almost like you're using it as a eyeliner. Do the same thing on the other eye. Great. So you should look a little crazy right now. You should have like a half eyeliner on the bottom, and that's totally fine. We are gonna now go in, we're gonna take away any dark shadow that's left on our brush. I'm gonna dust it off on my little paper towel here so that I don't mix or blend my colors. And then I'm going to go in with this glistening color right here, something very light and bright with a little sparkle in it. You could, if you like doing matte, you could do matte too. I would just suggest doing something close to your skin tone or even lighter than your skin tone. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take this on the inside corner and you're going to meet that dark tone right in the middle. So you're still lining your eye fully. You're just not lining it all the way around with the same color. And once again, that reason is because we don't need any extra darkness towards the center of our face or the inside corner of our eyes. Something really great about putting bottom shadow on is if you've got beautiful designer eye bags, then you have to use a lot less concealer because you covered it with an eyeshadow. So that's actually one of my go-to tricks because I look tired no matter how much sleep I've got. So I've kind of learned how to make it a trend. That's what you do. You take your flaws and you make them a trend. So I am just placing that nice golden shadow, something nice and bright, right in the inner corner of my eyes, and it really just makes the eyes pop, and it blends out the color we already put. You could do this with any color, whether you're using a brown eyeshadow or a black. If you're somebody who likes to do eyeliner on the bottom, but you find that you have watery eyes, eyeshadow is probably going to be your best bet instead of eyeliner. I have allergies, so I used to line them all the way around once upon a time. If you get any undershadow underneath your eyes, you just want to go ahead and buff it away. You also, I like to use a brush to kind of fix the shape of my shadow too, so I have nothing on my brush at all, but I am just kind of doing this because it's creating this more uplifted effect to where my eyeshadow kind of juts out on the side. Now, last but not least, you want to go in with your darkest shadow. So if you're doing a smoky eye, this is your time. Once again, you want to use a packing brush because you don't want to go in with something that's too big and it's going to make your eyes look too dark. So as you can see here, I have a very, very teeny packing brush. You can also use your finger or a Q-tip. I'm going to use this color right here, Rustic. And I'm not going to do a lot. When you have a hooded eye or you have small eyes, smoky eyes can be too overpowering on the eye. So what's smoky to somebody else with larger eyes is going to be different for you. It's going to be a lot more subtle because our eyes can't really handle being too dark if they're pushed back or they're too small or we have too much of a hood. So what I like to do is I like to focus that dark color once again in the outer corner, almost like an eyeliner, into the shadow, and then I'm going to blend down and marry it up into my crease. But I want to keep this really low. I don't want it to be all over my eyeshadow because I've already got everything where I want it. I just want to make it a little bit more dramatic by adding some darkness to the outer corner. And you can also add this to the bottom if you want to as well to make that look more blown out. But as you can see, I'm really keeping it at the corner of my crease. And I am not getting it anywhere near the middle of my eye. And I'm not getting it anywhere near the inside of my eye, the inside crease or the inside corner. And it just creates so much more definition. I am not a huge fan of using black for smoky eyes. I think it's a lot on certain people. Some people can totally rock it, and you can always use a little bit of black. But my word of advice to anybody who likes to do really smoky eyes is to use your darkest colors at the very end. Do everything else you want, because if you think of it like if you have a cup full of white paint and you put a drop of black paint in it, what happens? The whole thing turns gray, right? So you really want to make sure that you put your dark colors exactly where you want them and are careful not to blend them into anywhere else. I try not to blend mine out too much because I don't want my whole eyeshadow to turn dark. Sometimes it helps, especially if you have smaller eyes, to lift your head up so that you can see a little bit better what you're doing. And I'm just, once again, I'm going down and towards my lash line so that I don't mess up any of the shading that I already did. If you're struggling to blend that out, then once again, you know, you just take a little brush with nothing on it and just go back and forth in that area. Before you know it, you've got a really nice eye look. Now I'm going to go in with eyeliner. These are my favorite eyeliners. Once again, I have allergies. My eyes water all the time. These are twist up. So number one, I don't have to like stab myself with an unsharpened pencil. But number two, I don't have to go looking for my sharpener when I want to wear eyeliner. So that's also a positive thing. These are waterproof. This color is called Lionfish. It's a bit of a bronzy brown and it has some sparkle in it, which is nice. When you have hooded eyes, once again, we don't have a lot of lid space that we can work with that's not going to be hiding under our crease when we open. So we want to keep the majority of our eyeliner almost like a tight line. So I'm going to go ahead and tight line, and I'm going to get right under my eye instead of on top, and not your waterline because you don't want to hurt yourself, but pretend like you're almost coloring or filling in the gaps between your eyelashes from the bottom. If you have a mirror, it really helps to have it underneath you, because you're not like trying to like hold your eyelid open all crazy. You can just see it without having to do anything like I do right now. And if you have lighter eyelashes, this is such a huge life changer. Like honestly, if you have blonde eyelashes, this will save your life. This is also a really good trick when you have lash extensions too. I know most of us are probably not able to get our lash extensions right now. We're feeling a little crazy, but this makes your lash line appear much thicker than it is naturally. I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the other eye. If you do wear false lashes as well, and you have lighter eyelashes, this is a really good trick because you can totally blends with your natural lashes. So you won't be able to tell the difference between the nice, pretty, really dark, thick fake lashes and your own. So now that I have lined my eyes like this, it doesn't look like I'm wearing eyeliner. So I can pretend like I just woke up like this with this beautiful shimmery eyelids and a nice thick lash line. So a really fun trick, if anybody here has, I hope everybody here has setting spray. If you don't, no worries. You could totally just use your glitter or your shimmer the way you want to, but I am a stickler. I hate that whenever I dip into any kind of a shimmery shadow, it like gets everywhere and all over my face, and I've got glitter on my chin and my nose, and I just want the glitter where I want it, and that's it. So if you don't know how to do that, if you have a nice concealer brush or something that is nice and flat, once again, a packing brush, go ahead and spray it with a setting spray. And you can do this with any eyeshadow. This is a really fun trick. I am going to go in with this bronze color here. And now that my brush is wet, I'm going to go over the shadow very carefully. I'm going to dab it on my hand a little bit, but basically what happens is you create a liquid eyeshadow. So that's a trick you can do all the time. It's really awesome. So if you have a setting spray.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's my favorite. You could do this with pigments, any kind of shadow, but if you struggle with blending or you want to like a creamy consistency to your shadow, you could make any of your eyeshadows that way. And you just, yeah, with a nice setting spray. I like to use Slay All Day by Gerard. So you could use it on your face and you can use it to create a liquid shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just go in just like this, all over the middle of my lid. Once again, I just love this palette because you could do a summertime look, and it's really awesome for fall as well. It's for other skin tones, for darker skin tones, if you have a deeper shade than I do, my recommendation would be the Modern Renaissance palette. We also sell that at Blushington. It's the same exact palette, just a different tones, different shades, deeper colors. So I really love to give myself some dimension with that. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with a little bit of a lighter gold that I see here called Fairy. It's one of my favorites. Same idea, spray your brush, and then go into your shadow and start to create your liquid shadow. And that way you don't get glitter all over you. Also a good trick if you have children who like glitter for Halloween. Nobody likes glitter in their eyes or everywhere else, so this is a great trick for any kind of a shimmer. I'm also gonna bring that down into my eye too. Last but not least, we're gonna curl our lashes and add some mascara. Now, after I do this, I am gonna bring up a little diagram for you guys here on my screen to share with you. And it is just so you can get a good idea of what colors are gonna look best with your eye color. It's a nice diagram that shows everybody, and I'll run through that with you guys real quick. You're gonna wanna grab your lash curler. If you don't have one, definitely invest in them. I never used one before because I didn't think that I needed one, but it honestly makes your eye look so much more open. So for a hooded eye or a small eye, it is absolutely essential. Yes, thank you. Did it work for you, Brittany? It worked? Was it like, it's totally like a mind blown. It's like you just discovered.
It's game changer.
Right, yeah.
So great.
Highlighter too, so keep that in mind. It's very versatile. I'm glad it worked for you guys. Once you've curled your lashes, I like to curl them at the base and at the tip, so I like to do it twice. If you want more length and you feel like you are someone who is kind of lacking in the length department, then just curl your lashes once right at the base, and that will basically give you the appearance of a longer lash. Either way, though, you have to curl them so that they look nice and open. And I'm going in with the Kevyn Aucoin Volume Mascara. I really like this because, once again, I like to really get in there and get every single lash. And I love how skinny the wand is because it really keeps you from messing up. And if you do have a smaller eye or a hooded eye, you totally know what I'm talking about when I say you get mascara all over the top of your eye. So this will help. And another trick is you could put your finger behind your lashes so that it gets your finger instead of your eye, because you've just done this beautiful shadow and don't want to ruin it. You could also do it with like a cotton swab. Mascara is all about the twist of the fingers and the wrist. A lot of people put their mascara on wrong. You definitely need to turn it as you go because that keeps you from having clumps. So as you can see, I'm kind of rolling it. Oop, got a little bit. Got a little bit. But I like to roll it as I go. You really want to kind of squint your eyes so that it dries before you get it on the top of your eye or under your eyebrow. I also say stick to the outside corners first and use your excess mascara left over on your wand for the inner corners and for the bottom lashes. Sometimes if you go in freshly dipped, it's way too much and you just get it everywhere, or it's smudgy and that's not fun. So really roll your mascara, really try to get in there. If you are crazy about lashes, you can do both sides of your lashes, the top and the bottom, and that will make them appear thicker. But again, that's kind of a difficult trick when you've got hooded eyes because as soon as you open, those eyelashes hit the top of your eye. So unless you're resting them with your eyes closed for a good 2 minutes to dry, I wouldn't suggest. Then you go and get your bottom lashes with your excess mascara. That way you don't get it everywhere. And same thing, you don't want to do all of your lashes. You actually want to come into about the middle of your lash or at least leave like 3/4 of the inner corner open without mascara because you don't want to put black in the inside of your eye. We want our eyes to look as big as possible. You can totally wear eyeliner on the top if you have smaller eyes. It's just a preference for me. I feel like it takes up a lot of my eyelid space for shadow. So I personally prefer to do an extremely thin line or a tight line. And then I already did my brows earlier, but I am gonna go ahead and put on some brow gel just so that my eyebrows stay in place. Everything that I used today actually comes in a set. So if you're looking at mascara, eyebrow gel, and eyeshadow, as well as a smudge stick liner, the waterproof roll-up liners we talked about, there's a deal going on right now on Blushington, and it comes in a pack. So you can get all of those products together, and I'll show you here what that looks like. You're gonna talk about your eyeliner, your clear eyebrow gel, your mascara, and your shadow, all in a bundle. And that will be available in the chat box if it's not already. And then give me 1 second. I wanna pull up something for you guys to take a look at really quick. Okay, so everyone can see this, I hope. This is a really great guide for colors that look best on your eye color. So as you can see here, I have blue eyes. So today I chose a very, very warm tone. I've got a lot of orange going on. I've got some lighter yellows going on with the golds. If you've got green eyes, you don't necessarily have to go in with like Lakers purple, but this dusty rose tone over here would make an amazing natural color for somebody with brown eyes or green eyes that really want to make their color pop. This burgundy up here at the top as well, this mulberry color, this is also an amazing color for anyone with green eyes, blue eyes, and even brown eyes, just because it has that purple tone in it. As you can see here, brown eyes also look amazing with any kind of a bronze color, gold. If you have watched Beyonce, she always has gold on her lids because it really does bring out the color of her eye. If you have hazel eyes, you've probably got some green, some golden hues in there, like a honey brown. All of these tones work for you. The only people, and even if you have gray eyes, honestly, if you have gray eyes, you can still wear orange. You don't necessarily have to stick to muted colors that are similar to the eye. The only reason why blues look so good on gray eyes is because they really make the gray pop. When you've got beautiful dark brown eyes, once again, purple, gold, dusty rose, anything with a little bit of a hue in it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a true purple or a true gold or yellow or even green, but it could be like a muted version of that, and that will still give you the same effect. So I hope that helped everybody today. I hope you guys have a better idea of what colors to gravitate towards when you're looking for makeup. I hope that you guys have a better idea on how to do your eyeshadow. I would love to hear from you right now and see if anybody did their eyeshadow differently today and really likes how it came out. Allison Schmitz, how did your eyeshadow come out?
I think I like it. It's way more than I ever put on, but I'm like, wow, you can see my eyes.
That makes me so happy. Is it different than what you normally do?
Yeah, I'm just usually, it was like you were saying, it gets stuck in the crease, so you end up not being able to see it, even when
I'm so happy that we were able to figure that out, and hopefully you can take this on forever. Donna, how do you feel? Your eyes look amazing. Donna Z? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. That's okay. I do it all the time. Uh-oh. If you can't talk, you can always put it in the chat too.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Oh, okay. So this is the eye that I just did with you, and I kept my daytime eye here, and it looks so much better. I had no idea about line.
It makes such a difference. Yeah, I know. Once we figure it out, it makes a huge difference. Brittany Schultz, how do you feel about your eyeshadow?
It's great. I have like the world's most hooded eyes, so this really helped. Thank you.
Great. I'm so happy. Joan, I would love to hear from you. Did you learn something today? Joan, I think you're on mute. If you're, or maybe putting in the chat here. Let me see.
Yeah, it was good, very good.
Great. I'm so happy everybody learned something. And, you know, if you have struggle with getting makeup off or you have allergies, I would really suggest adding a Bioderma to your arsenal. For me, with allergies, I feel like, you know, also I'm taking on and taking off all day. So I definitely need to have a good makeup remover that's not going to irritate me or make me cry afterwards. So if you need a good makeup remover, Bioderma is amazing. Otherwise, everything else today that we talked about is in the chat bar. What was the setting spray? The setting spray that I used today for the eyeshadow was the Slay All Day by Gerard.
So much long.
I'm going to go ahead and put my code in the chat box so that you guys can get a good discount and free shipping. My code is Sloane20. Thank you so much, everybody, for returning for my 4-part series. This is class number 3. I hope you have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, Sloane.
Thank you.
You guys.
That was so great.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.